Hi, this is Joe from Sensipath. Today I want to talk about why work feels so exhausting for highly sensitive people. One of the traits of HSP is their high sensitivity, so at work HSPs tend to worry about many things and end up feeling completely exhausted. So this video is meant to help clear up the question, which situation at work tends to create difficulties for HSPs? So I hope you'll make use of this video until the end. The first reason is the way workplaces are set up makes things hard from the start. So there are actually reasons built into the structure of companies that make highly sensitive people more likely to get drained. First of all, a workplace is an organization, and organizations have power dynamics like boss and subordinate. So hierarchies exist, and therefore instruction and criticism naturally happens. But in these situations, HSPs often try to go beyond the work role and make an effort to be friendly, almost becoming real friends with their bosses. But when work and personal elements get mixed up, you start to take feedback more personally, so you feel criticized and feel heavy inside. It's important to know a workplace is a group of people who come together to work to achieve a certain goal. And people who gather there are a mix of different backgrounds like age, personality, and values, and they are all gathered into this one place. So because of this, frictions can happen more often than private life. So HSPs tend to be highly cooperative, so they want to work together peacefully with everyone, but unfortunately not everybody wants that. Some people take advantage of their higher position to complain to people all the time, or some people don't want to talk at all, and some even don't want to say hi to others. And because of these differences, HSPs often struggle with workplace interactions. They keep thinking, why does this person say such harsh things? Or why won't this person understand me? And end up feeling stuck and frustrated. But the reality is, people who don't naturally understand each other are forced into the same space. So it's only natural that relationships don't work smoothly. So by knowing this, HSPs can start to understand that hardship doesn't come from you being weak or that things are your fault. Instead, it means the environment itself is difficult from the start. So this is useful to understand as a basis for highly sensitive people. The second reason is the constant need to be liked. Highly sensitive people are sensitive to stimulation, and dealing with people is a very strong source of stimuli. Especially being disliked by somebody is intense, so HSPs try to avoid it. As a result, highly sensitive people try to be liked by everyone, and what happens is they spend a lot of energy worrying just about that one difficult coworker, or they push themselves hard to do work perfectly so no one will say anything to them. But over time, this leads to exhaustion. And in workplaces with hierarchies, HSPs often try to unconsciously manage other people's moods. A good example is break time with a boss. Even during breaks, HSPs feel the need to listen carefully rather than casually resting and just doing chit-chat. Even if they want to relax, thoughts like, what if I leave a bad impression, or what if this affects my work later, comes up. And even during lunchtime, some HSPs eat with their coworkers because they have a hard time saying no. But what's important to know is HSPs need quiet alone time to recover. Without it, they become more and more tired and feel completely drained by the time they get home. I myself used to force eating lunch with coworkers because I was afraid of being alone. But the conversations were always about smartphone games I had no interest in, and I kept trying to be polite and fit in, which made me more exhausted. So one day I made an excuse that I had a book I really wanted to read and started eating alone. At first it felt lonely, but I realized how much more relaxed and comfortable it became. So as a conclusion, highly sensitive people tend to spend huge amount of energy on workplace relationships because their sensitivity and their fear of being disliked are closely linked. But the important point to know is this isn't a weakness in personality or anything. It's just the result of workplace systems combined with HSP's inborn traits. So just understanding this can make things feel much lighter. The third reason is the invisible work. Invisible work refers to the mental workload highly sensitive people carry, which isn't part of the actual task, and of course it doesn't show up in your work performance review. So HSPs react strongly to small stimuli and tend to think deeply about them. For example, if a coworker sighs more than usual, an HSP might immediately think, are they tired or did something happen? Then HSPs start choosing words carefully and keep trying to guess the perfect timing to communicate with them. This isn't part of the job itself, but it takes a lot of mental energy for HSPs. So even during meetings, if HSPs make no comments, they may keep thinking in their head, is the team's mood getting worse, or that person seems irritated. However, other people seem to speak freely without hesitation and mentally move on as soon as they're done talking. HSP, on the other hand, continues replaying the interaction afterwards, thinking, was what I said okay? And because of this, even on days when the workload itself wasn't very heavy, HSPs can feel completely burnt out by the end of the day. So from the outside, it may look like the highly sensitive person wasn't that busy, but internally they were constantly thinking and staying alert. And the thing is, the invisible work is rarely praised because bosses almost never say, thanks for keeping the atmosphere calm. So as a result, HSPs start blaming themselves, saying, why do I always get exhausted so fast? Or they think, maybe it's because I'm just weak. However, I want to point out this isn't about being weak or anything. This happens because highly sensitive people are more sensitive to stimulation and they process more information in their minds compared to others. So if you feel like you don't mind doing the actual job itself, but you seem to get drained, the cause is likely not your ability, but rather it's the invisible work you've been doing all along. And finally, the fourth reason is unclear boundaries. This is another common struggle for highly sensitive people. So HSPs are very sensitive to other people's emotions, so they tend to constantly check whether the relationship is going smoothly or not. Because of this, creating distance with people can feel scary or guilt-inducing. But when boundaries become unclear, HSPs may get too close, talk too much, and end up getting hurt by others' opinions. So wanting to get along with others is a great thing, but work is not really a place designed for a friendship, because the main purpose everybody has at the root is to work and earn money. And there are people who do not want to make friends from the start. So even if you try hard to communicate, misunderstandings still happen. From an HSP's point of view, it's a bit sad, but it's the reality. I've heard many stories from HSPs that they try hard to get along with everybody, but end up approaching people who respond poorly or who are difficult, and they get attacked or criticized, leaving them exhausted. So that's why shifting the mindset for a relationship helps. A workplace is a work relationship first, so connecting mainly through roles and not forcing personal conversations often makes things easier. So once you start being aware of boundaries, it becomes easier to keep distance from people you find hard to deal with. Adjusting distance with people is difficult for HSPs at first, but little by little, if you adjust, life becomes easier, so it's definitely worth it. Also, one important thing I want to say is that setting boundaries is not being cold or anything. Having appropriate distance protects your emotional health and reduces unnecessary strain for both sides. In many cases, relationships actually become smoother. So if you've been suffering in workplace relationships, I recommend checking whether unclear boundaries are part of the reason. So today I talked about why work feels so exhausting for highly sensitive people. On this Sensipath channel, I share many different practical information for highly sensitive people. So please make use of this channel to make your life feel lighter. That's it for today. This was Joe from Sensipath.